This
North India.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Okay, let's wait for another 2 minutes. I think some more people have to join. Give another 2 minutes for other people. I'll just stop sharing so that there's no confusion. Okay, I think everybody has joined the session. Let's begin with today's discussion. Whoever joins after this is going to be late, unfortunately. It's fine. Today we are discussing set 5. Yeah. So let's get into it. Set 5. What are the set 5 questions? What are the main grievances or doubts? Okay, so first question, fairly simple. We started discussing this yesterday. Yesterday's class is uploaded. Yeah, every session will be uploaded to DQH, so you guys can go and see the sessions later. But I mean, the best is always to come for the live session if possible, because you can have your questions answered and stuff. Let's go to first question. In what math subject does the golden ratio appear frequently? And the answer is geometry, because the golden ratio is about the relationship in size, proportion, and mathematics. So that is an area where geometry comes handy. So we're talking about geometry over here. This should not be a problem. Everyone should be understanding this one. Next one, there's an image shown over here, and they're asking you what type of drawing this is. So this is an isometric view. I think a lot of people keep asking and have not really figured out the difference between isometric and axonometric. See, they are essentially the same. Okay, they are both subsets. So axonometric is a subset of isometric. Okay, so don't get confused. They're not two completely different things. They're both orthographic projections, right? The only difference now in isometric, it is not a true visualization. It's a simplification, right? So we're taking all of these lines as 90 degrees uh, to each other, right, in the plane. And the plane is not parallel to us, is parallel to our viewing plane, right? So that everything is kind of simplified. So things that are closer do not look larger. Things that are further away do not seem smaller. So there is no perspective involved in this. Now, when we take all of those things and we create that realistic kind of view, okay, not taking the plane as perfectly parallel to our plane of viewing, right? Uh, then what happens is we get a slightly skewed view. So if you notice in the images, right, axonometric will always have some very skewed, it'll look like a 3-point drawing almost. There'll be some, it will not look like a regular 2-point 3D model, right? It looks like a 3-point because it gets skewed. It's thinner, it's sometimes longer. One, you'll see more of one side, less of one side. So it's a little bit more in the realism than isometric. But visually, like I keep explaining, these lines are simplified, so they are just simply made 90 degrees to each other, right? And the objects are not in perspective at all. Further objects are the same size, closer objects are the same size. So it's a very simplified 3D view. Okay, that's isometric. Axonometric is a little bit more realistic, therefore it is also a little bit more skewed. Okay, so that is your main difference. And again, if you want to read up about it, there's millions of articles online. It's very easy to find out and see a lot of examples. Choose the color scheme of this painting. This is again a very famous painting by Vincent van Gogh, right? And this is analogous color scheme. Here the color scheme is also shown below. So you have this lime green, green, and like this deep orange. And out of the 4 options, analogous is the closest to this. Gray is not counted as part of the scheme because gray is color neutral, right? Therefore, you're only looking at these. These two will be exactly next to each other, and this deep orange will maybe 2-3 places next to it. Okay, so it's not exactly in the same green family, but out of the 3 options, other 3 options, it is the closest. This is not red. This is a very deep orange, almost greenish orange. So it is not actually in the opposite side of the color wheel. It'll be on the same side of the color wheel, very close. Red and green, yeah. Yeah, and obviously in this painting, like you know the painting method, the green is mixed in with the red, therefore the orange is also greenish red. It's not actually it's a greenish orange, I mean, not greenish red. Okay. This painting, I do believe is a Kandinsky painting, and here the correct option is A. I think this is corrected. Yeah, this is corrected. This is a corrected version of the answer. The correct option is A. The couple of things you have to look at the triangular piece, the left triangular piece of the orange block. Then you have to look at the line that's going diagonally across from top to top right to bottom left. And then you have to look at this thickness of this curve. So a couple of elements, you just have to see the continuity of the, you have to look at the continuity of the lines. Okay, so this line that's going diagonally has to continue, this curve has to continue, this orange block has to continue, this circle has to be completed. Therefore, all of those elements need to match. Name of the artist is Kandinsky. Kandinsky. He's the father of abstract paintings. He's a Russian painter. He's a very great artist. Very interesting to see his work. It's very freeing. Okay, as a young artist or a growing artist, you should always know who Kandinsky is. You should always start with Kandinsky. These plates must be placed as such. Yeah, the plates have to be placed. So if you notice, they all four of these are the same image. It's just rotated, right? So it's asking you which is the correct one. So there's no difference in the images. So you just have to see which one can be placed directly inside. Question 5. The light bounces off a surface and strikes the object. Often hard to notice, this light helps add dimension to the drawing. So what is this light called? This light is called the reflected light. And what we are talking about in reflected light is usually at the bottom. Okay, so if you look closely at this bottom of the sphere, the lightest part is where the light is hitting, and then slowly it becomes darker and darker until this point. And then again there is a very subtle increase in the brightness again, because the light is bouncing off the table and hitting the outer edge, and that is creating the definition of this edge in terms of the in front of the shadow. Okay, so that's what they mean by adding dimension to the drawing. You can actually see this bottom edge because of the reflected light. If there was no reflected light, this whole thing would be dark, and then the shadow will also be dark, and then you lose the dimension of the object. What is shade? Adding black to color. Anytime you add black, it changes the shade of the color. Okay, so adding black to a color is known as shades. There are those three things you should know the difference: shade, tint, and hue. Right, so these are important. Shade, hue, tone is also there. Tone is gray, tint is white, shade is black, hue is color. Okay, the following line is used to run through the center of an object to provide an interior view. This is called a cutting plane, right? Basically, whenever you have this line, right, it means we're going to have a section of that, and it's going to be looking in this direction. Okay. This is a viewing plane, sir. No, it's a cutting plane. Repeat what is hue and tint. Tint is adding white. Hue is the definition of the color. Why can't it be darkness? Wait, where is darkness? Darkness and lightness. Are you talking about the previous one? Brightness and lightness are the word for that is intensity. It's not shade. What is section line? Section line is a line in which you cut a section on. But a cutting plane is the plane in which you view. So the arrow is showing the direction in which you're viewing this plane. These lines and questions come under what topic? They come under architectural drawing. These are all parts of drawing. So if in case they are not actually giving you drawing questions, they might ask you drawing theory. So in that sense, we have predicted that they might ask you some architectural drawing theory. So could you please search this on internet? You can search it if you want, sure. Explain what is cutting plane. Okay. Cutting plane is the point on a drawing where you are showing which direction you are looking at an object from. The two-dimensional contour that characterizes an object or an area. This is a shape. The shape, when it becomes 3D and when it's given depth, it becomes a form. Okay, so 2D is shape and 3D is form. Remember the difference between that. Okay. A value that goes from light to dark with no noticeable divisions or lines. Okay, this is called a graded value. Okay. Any doubts over here? Why not grayscale? Grayscale is only for black and white spectrum. Yes. Why not blending? Blending is mixing. you're not creating a different value, right? So the value is the color that you're creating, right? So blending is when you're mixing completely. Okay. So in graded value, you don't mix the colors, you just keep the colors next to each other without any noticeable divisions. So you look at that bar in, say, Paint or Photoshop, you know, where you show all the colors from left to right. That is your graded values. The colors are not being blended into each other or mixed into each other. They're all technicalities, so you have to know the difference between technicalities. It's not like a major thing. Okay. Drawing includes dash, rapid freehand drawing, as well as more exacting depictions. So the clue here is rapid freehand drawing. So they're asking you what is a rapid freehand drawing. So you'll have to think of the word sketching. Okay. Parts of the design are not visually equal, but similar in height and weight. So having not visually equal, but equal visual weight is always to do with balance. So in this case, it's either symmetrical, asymmetrical balance. Therefore, in this case, the answer has to be asymmetrical balance because they are not in the equal shape, but they have the correct visual weight. What is CAD? Computer aided design. So it's basically drawing your architecture drawings on a computer. There's a software also, AutoCAD. From the given image below, choose the shapes that is the same shape as the shape to the left of the line. So basically, they're showing you some rotations, and then there are some mirrors. So you have to choose the correct one. The correct one is here is B. Okay. A, C, and D are all mirrored options. Okay. We have to choose the same image, not a mirror image. Answer should be option D. Shouldn't it be D since B is not proportionate? B is the only shape that is the same. A, C, and D are all mirror images. Guys, read the questions carefully. Come on. This is a very silly doubt that you should not be having a doubt in these questions. If you're having doubts here, that means you're not reading the questions carefully. And if you don't read the questions carefully, nobody can help you. You have to be very, very careful. No amount of preparation, this, that, all the things you read and go, nothing. If you read the question wrong and answer it wrong, then you're losing a very easy mark. This mark is very easy to get. Okay. The correct answer here is B. A, C, and D are all mirror images. E is also a mirror image. It's not the same shape. I don't know how you guys can ask me this question. I genuinely thought nobody will have a doubt in this. A, C, D, E, all the options are mirror images of the original image. Question is asking you from the given images below, choose the shape that is the same shape as the left of the line. Which is the same shape? Only B is the same shape. Are there still some doubts in this or no? Yes or no? Is it clear? Clear, clear. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Please read the question carefully. That's it. Don't lose this mark. It's very easy to get this marks. Okay. In the main exam also, again, just remember, please read the question. Which of the following shapes can be made from these pieces? So what is the orthographic meaning? Orthographic is a way of drawing, or it's describing a drawing where you use orthographic planes of projection to create a 3D object. You can look up the information on DQ Edge. Okay, because we can't have a theory class right now. If you're giving the exam this year, then by now you should know orthographic drawing. If you're giving it next year, then it's okay. But by now you should be knowing what orthographic drawing is. Which of the following shapes can be made from these pieces? Okay, out of the 4 options, it has to be option A, where the larger triangle is the bottom, and then the smaller 2 triangles can be the top part of this kite shape. How do we solve this kind of question? By folding the shape. You don't have to fold any shape in this question. Shouldn't it be B? Shouldn't it be C? No, both options are wrong. A is the correct option because there is one larger triangle for the bottom of the kite, and then there are 2 smaller triangles to create this top portion of this kite. Okay, so it has to be option A. In the figure given below, how many bricks is touching D? D is very simple. One on top, one on the left, and then brick number E is also there. So it will be touching 3 bricks. Okay, so visualizing this one is fairly simple. This type of sculpture can be seen from all sides. Okay, this question is I don't think this question is very clear, but basically, if you look at the options, it's trying to ask you what is this structure, not sculpture. What is the structure that you see in like cameras and all these things? These lines are known as a rule of thirds. Can you explain the concept? Yeah, so there is a rule of thirds that is in photography. Okay, so let me just write it down. Rule of thirds, so you guys can look at that also. So if you look at a camera or grid, you'll usually see this grid that is created, and the whole philosophy is that when you're taking a picture, you can keep the things that are in focus within these lines or these intersections, right? For example, this bottle, both the top and the bottom of the bottle are hitting the intersection of these lines, and then the horizon is also on this line of intersection. So this is kind of how you compose a picture. It's called the rule of thirds. It's very, very simple. You can just go and see the what do you call it, theory behind it. But that question was not clearly framed. I think they have to change how they write that question. Third, you keep the object at 1/3 of the edge, looks more appealing when you keep it in the center. Right. The figure shows simplified shapes of the neck portion of vertebral columns of a horse. Which of the following is most correct? So in this case, option A and B are both possible because you can have the movement of the horse, right? Essentially, what you want to think is that the neck will connect at the top of the head and it will run through the bottom of the neck. So that's the main kind of when you think about the anatomy. And I think you all have done animal figure drawings. So you would have studied the anatomy of horses, lions, whatever you're doing in animal drawings, right? So the vertebrae, the neck goes from the bottom of the neck. So in option C, it's going through the middle. Option D is going to the top. And option A and B kind of represents 2 possibilities. How can there be most correct option? The skeletal structure. Yeah, so I written that there also, right? That A and B are basically 2 different positions. So if the neck is in the front, you will see A. If the neck is in the back, you will see option B, right? So the movement of the neck, front, back, will give you both the options A and B. C and D are wrong because the bones are running through the top of the neck and the bottom of the neck, center. So the position of this line has to be closer to the bottom, essentially. Choose the object that can be made from the parts shown in the image below. This is pure 3D visualization. You have to connect the contact points. So A is like a cloud shape, and A sits on top of this because these 2 A's are connected. And then D and D. So the base of this vertical object is connected to the top of this cloud shape. And immediately next to that will be this bottom of this L shape. So cloud. So the only option is this. So if you just connect this shape A and this vertical shape, you'll see that B is the only option. Okay. In multi-correct answers, will our answer be considered wrong if we choose one wrong option? Yes. You have to choose all the correct options. Then you get the full marks. What element is represented here? Out of the 4 options, value, form, line, and texture. Here we are talking about lines. different line weight, different line style, curved line, straight line, smooth line, jagged line. So this whole thing is talking about just lines. There's no texture shown here. There are no values because it's all in black. There's no form because there's no 3D depth. Okay, so this is only line. Next question. Which of the following is not an element of art? Composition is not an element of art. Composition is a principle of art. Line is an element, texture is an element, and color is a element. Okay, so composition is a principle of art. Remember, we use the tools and we use the elements to create the principles. Okay, so composition is created by using the lines, the textures, and the colors. What is the most important element in drawing a good sketch? Producing good line work, keeping the sketch proportional, drawing round circles. Why isn't it producing good line work? The answer has to be keeping sketch proportional, because line work and drawing round circles is not an important element to create a good sketch. Right? You can have good sketches without good line work. You can have good sketches without round circles. Oh, I have written rule of thirds. So there's rule of thirds, the Wikipedia page over here. If you guys want to see this also, I was seeing that. But Henrik Clay. So there's a German illustrator called Henrik Clay. Look at his sketches. And look at some of these sketches. Let's take this for example. Do you see the image of this centaur on the right of my screen? See, he has not drawn any, very smooth lines or it's a very rough kind of drawing and section, but the overall proportions and everything is perfect, right? You can look at all of the other sketches, even these dancing elephants. Look at the proportion of the elephants, the hands and the legs and the body and the tusk and the ears, all of it is perfect. But the line quality is not very important to create a good sketch. Okay. So the answer is keeping the sketch professional is not professional, proportional is very important. All right. So question 21. Planning sketch is usually done very quickly and on a small scale to determine the arrangement and placement of object in artwork. This has been corrected. It says shouldn't be thumbnail sketch. It is, the answer is correct. Thumbnail sketch is the right answer. This has been corrected, I think. If you don't see the correction, just refresh your page. Yeah? Okay. Find the option that shows the figure on the left when folded along the dotted lines. So here there are a couple things to notice in this initial left side original. First part is the top half of this object. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, let me pen. So basically this top part is like a square. So both of these lines are perfectly equal next to the symmetry line. So that's one thing that you notice. Another thing to notice is that this line is not exactly parallel to this line, right? Therefore, you will have some kind of overlap. They will not perfectly align. So these 2 points at the top will align. So something like option C. Okay, option C is correct. Yes, option C is correct. And then at the bottom side, you will see that this bottom triangle will overlap on top of the top line because the line is not parallel to the line of symmetry. Right? Why is it, okay? What is toenail sketch? Toenail sketch is nothing. I think that's just a random thing written. Why is it an option B? Because of what I just explained, this first triangle is equal in height, therefore it should, both the corners will touch, and then the bottom triangle will overlap because the height is lower in the top half. You might have given an option to confuse us. It showed stretch in my mobile, so the option B is suited. No, even if it's stretched, option B is impossible. Just look at the logic carefully. Whichever way you see the image, it's impossible to see it as option B because you have to consider these 2 lines as equal, and then this line is taller than this. So in all ways, it will always be option C. Or in fact, the real confusion should have been between option C and D. I think C and D can be confusing options, but in this case, A lot of people say B. I don't know why. Isn't option A just C rotated? Yeah, it could be C rotated. Yeah, it is C rotated. But the original paper is in a certain orientation, so that orientation will not change. Okay, next one. Choice of color used in design plan is called a color scheme. This we all know. So we've been studying analogous and complementary on these all these things. Sometimes the choice of colors in a design plan can also be called as a color palette. Okay, so you have to be careful about that. So the choice of colors that you choose for the overall scheme can also be called as a color palette if you showcase the individual colors. The figures on the left show different views of the same cube. All the cube faces are different. Which of the options should replace the blue face on the cube? You have already done this exercise. No doubts. I think it's very simple. You look at the shapes that have been shown. See the relationship between the shapes. So in this case, they've shown the triangle, circle, and arrow. Now the circle has gone to that side, the back side, and the bottom is 3 lines. Now here's the circle and arrow. So they basically one by one, you're creating the different faces of this cube. Is color scheme same as color wheel? No, color wheel is the entire color spectrum. Color scheme is when you choose certain colors for a certain combination. Okay. If you have any problems with cube questions, please create this cube at home or take a cube and make these shapes and stick them on the side of a cube. Okay. Is color scheme the same as color spectrum? No, color spectrum is all colors. Color scheme is chosen colors. Question 25. What is the color scheme of the artwork? The artwork is tetradic. There are 4 colors. Can someone tell which 3 colors of the tetradic scheme is? So tetradic is a rectangular color scheme. Therefore, there will be 4 colors, not 3. 3 colors is called triadic. Okay. Isn't it split complementary? No, it's not split complementary. So this painting is called Poplars. It's done by Monet. Okay, so you guys have to remember this. I've replied to the comments also. Monet's painting above of Poplars features a rectangular color scheme of orange, yellow, green, and purple. However, the purple is fairly weak and used more so as a secondary color to complement the stronger greens, yellow, and orange. So the purple is the shading of the green rather than a prominent color of its own. So that's how you have the 4 colors. And anytime you have these kind of questions, you can just take you guys can take a snapshot of this picture and then just go to Google Images and search the painting and the artist. I will ask them to include the name of the painting and painter and painting and artist so that you guys can also research more about these paintings if you would like. Okay, it's up to you. All right. So that was the last one. Is this corrected? No, this was not corrected. This is the same. I've just given an explanation. Some people have asked some doubts. So at the bottom of the comments, I have commented the explanation. So you guys can see that also. Any other doubts in today's quiz, set 5? Could you check the cutting and viewing plane line? Check the image viewing plane or a cutting plane line. Okay, let me have a look. Which is the question? I forgot that question also. Oh, it's question 7, right? Okay, so let's see, cutting plane drawings. Okay, so as you can see, right, so a cutting plane is a thick you look at this drawing, I think this is much more clearer. It's a thick line that is dashed, okay, to show that you're cutting through this and you are seeing it in a certain direction. Okay. Now, viewing plane. Okay, where is the viewing plane? Here. So you see the viewing plane drawing on the top right of your screen, right? So this drawing on the top right corner is called a viewing plane. Okay. So the viewing plane is an actual plane. It's a surface. It's an entire surface on which you are seeing the object cut. Understand the difference? Whereas the cutting plane is actually not a plane. It's a line that you indicate in a drawing, right? To show that you are cutting it over there. Okay. So when you're talking about a viewing plane, you're talking about the entire plane. Okay. And usually the drawing is with a 3D object. Okay. Cutting plane is on this 2D drawing where you create a line to show that this is where we are going to cut in 3D. You're indicating that it will happen in 3D later. Okay. Viewing plane will be, okay, this is the way you're viewing this object. Right. Okay. So even if you guys are seeing these kind of pictures, right? You have to understand that there are multiple kind of, how do you say it? Like, okay, you have to understand one thing. Like every architect and every engineering drawing has some slight variation in the kind of definition of viewing and cutting plane. Okay, because essentially they're doing the same thing. The task is exactly the same. There's nothing really very different about it. Okay, and if you see, in fact, let me just show you types of lines in architecture drawings. Okay, lines used in architecture. So the moment you search it, there are, and everybody has some kind of slight variation about how the drawing is done. Because also you have to understand that the drawing standards are not exactly the same in every country. So some countries have slightly different drawing standards based on the architecture standards of their country. So USA will have a different way to draw dimension lines. UK standards and European standards are slightly different. I'm not saying drastically different, they'll be slightly different. Okay. So there's always a little bit of confusion in these cases. I would suggest you just look at multiple sources of information and get like a general idea. Don't stick to one thing and okay, like this is what I read and this is what it is. Okay. You have to look at more drawings, you have to see more different kind of ways that people are viewing these lines and these planes. Okay, that's only one thing I would suggest. And yeah, these lines and all these cutting planes and all, like finding definitions on them is very simple online. Okay, don't worry about it. It's not a very tough topic. It's just new. That's why you guys are all little bit panicking about it, because you don't know and it's new. But the topic itself is very simple, and I think that should help. Are there any other doubts you guys want to? Will they ask her painting and will they give her the painting and ask her to identify? Most likely not, because I don't know. We don't know what's going to come with a new pattern. I can only say that most likely it won't happen, because you're not expected to know artists. You guys are not becoming artists. You're becoming architects, right? You're expected to be exposed to it. I mean, it's always better to know it. There's nothing wrong in knowing. But if I have to tell you for the exam, if you're reading, then I would say I don't know. Yeah, it would not be there in the portions. Yeah. Okay, so if there are no other questions, then we'll close the class. Cutting plane and cutting line. Cutting line is in 2D drawing, cutting plane is in 3D drawings. What is the 12th board percentage? That's not important right now. Will I get the theory part of drawing questions? See, theory part of drawing questions is very new as a topic, and we have put up some questions so you can look up questions or topics similar to those questions for now. And I think a lot of those color theory and architectural awareness and elements and drawing, all that stuff is already there in the GK section. So you can have a look at that again once. What type of questions for what? What will we have from tomorrow? What type of questions? I'm not sure. I'll ask them to communicate with you. I'll ask DQ Labs and I'll find out and they'll communicate with you. Not a doubt, but you suggest writing the exam ghar se going to the center. I am from Mangalore. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I do not know. It's also your personal preference, I guess. I would not go to any center because I'm scared of all this thing, coronavirus and stuff like that. Yeah, I would do it from home. If I have a good internet connection and I have if I have like some space to sit separately and do my exam, then it's fine. You said you won't be allowed to use a piece of paper. I have no clue about this. Here, these questions about the examination structure and this and that, you should have these conversations with the counselors. They are best suited to answer your questions. I'm just here to help you to solve some of these questions. What about tomorrow's set? One second. I'll just speak to them. Okay, one second. The counselor is the same person who put you onto this class. Your representative from DQ Labs. Whichever city you're in, whoever you spoke to in DQ Lab, that person is your counselor. Okay, so you guys will get your set for tomorrow's questions by the morning. They'll be uploaded today. Yeah, as usual, 9 o'clock you will be able to access it. Okay, thank you. Bye. Who's the architect for Ram Mandir? Please go and have a Google it. I'm not sure. Okay, we'll close the class. I think now there are no more architecture-based questions. We'll close. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Take care.